25 men in a single night. The figure hangs in the stale air of an unreal, monstrous room. The winner is neither a desperate slave nor a veteran of the trade. She is Valeria Messalina, Empress of Rome, wife of the divine Claudius. She has just humiliated Stilla, the city's most famous prostitute, in a competition of carnal endurance. This was not simply an act of lust. It was an act of existential defiance, a cry against the suffocating emptiness of absolute power. And this gamble on self-destruction would change the fate of the empire forever. Today you will learn about the saga of Messalina, Augustus's great-granddaughter and the most powerful woman on earth, who was mortally bored with the luxury and suffocating silence of the Palatine Hill. We will discover how absolute power was not freedom, but a prison of polished marble, pushing her to voluntarily descend into the sewers. To combat this suffocating tedium of being divine, she disguised herself with a blonde wig and the nom de guerre Loba to work in a low-class brothel, seeking to feel something beyond tedium. We will see how this arrogance led her to the most inconceivable step, organizing a grotesque and suicidal farce of a wedding with her lover, Callo Cilio, believing that she could simply exchange her husband. This video is based on real sources that detailed her life and fall, including the accounts of Tacitus and Suetonius, and those of Juvenal, Pliny the Elder, and Cassius Dio. We will reveal the rotten truth at the heart of Roman power and analyze the most devastating irony of her fate. The purge carried out by the freedman Narcissus to save Rome only created the power vacuum that allowed Agrippina, the younger, a cold and calculating strategist, to introduce her son Nero. The fall of the she-wolf did not save Rome, it unleashed Nero upon it. When you can have anything, nothing has value. How does it feel to have no power? Messalina, whose full name was Valeria Messalina, was born with royal blood running through her veins, being the daughter of Valerius Messala Barbato and Domitia Lepida. She was a product of the Julio-Claudian dynasty with an impressive lineage. She was Caligula's second cousin and Augustus's great-grandniece. For Messalina, madness was not an aberration, but a tool of government. She married Tiberius Claudius Nero Germanicus when she was only 15 years old, and he was 47 and twice divorced. This marriage was a great honor for Claudius, linking him closely to the line of succession, but Messalina despised him, as he was the family disgrace, lame, stuttering, and supposedly mentally deficient. In 41 AD, with the assassination of Caligula, Claudius was unexpectedly acclaimed as the new emperor. Messalina, in her early 20s, went from being the wife of an irrelevant idiot to the most powerful woman on earth. The power she gained was instantaneous, total, and unlimited, and it bored her almost immediately. To combat this tedium, she desecrated the palace and forced the wives of senators to participate in her depraved games, not for sexual pleasure, but for the pleasure of desecration. To feel alive, she chose to strip herself of the immunity of the imperial purple and disguised herself as Loba, working in Estilla's brothel in the Subura. Pliny the Elder wrote that Messalina competed with a sex worker to see who had more lovers, with the empress winning after 25. Embrace Juvenal recounted that she disguised herself with a blonde wig and returned exhausted but still unsatisfied. The she-wolf sought to feel that her life was worth less than the few coins in a drunken soldier's belt. Absolute power was not freedom for Messalina, but a prison of polished marble. The she-wolf had won the bet, but her arrogance blinded her. She became obsessed with Callo Cilio, described as the most beautiful man in the Roman aristocracy. She took him to the Palatine Hill and gave him sacred treasures of the state. She forced Cilio to divorce his wife. Adultery had become a public spectacle. Messalina decided she wanted him as her husband, while Claudius was in Ostia worrying about grain. Messalina organized a grotesque and suicidal wedding farce in the heart of Rome. The empress donned the yellow bridal veil, flamum, and publicly went to Silas's house to exchange vows. She believed she could simply exchange her husband. This wedding, which some historians interpret as an attempted coup d'etat motivated by political ambition, was the last straw for the freedman. Protecting the empress had become infinitely more dangerous than destroying her. Narcissus, the imperial secretary, set the trap. He knew Claudius would deny the truth, so he brought witnesses, the concubines Calpurnia and Cleopatra, to break through the emperor's shield of denial. Silius signed the Deuterium Instrumentum, the marriage contract, which became their joint death warrant. Messalina underestimated the only thing stronger than imperial lust, the bureaucracy's instinct for survival. In Ostia, upon hearing the witnesses, Claudius panicked, and his mind could not process the betrayal. Narcissus grabbed the emperor by the arm, taking him by carriage to Rome. In Rome, upon learning that the emperor knows, the party at the villa on the Pincio turned into a stampede of cowards. Narcissus bought the loyalty of the Praetorian Guard with gold. Silius was arrested and executed without trial in the courtyard of the barracks. Narcissus acted as judge, jury, and executioner. The purge was bureaucratic. More than 30 senators and 300 Roman knights were executed in less than 6 hours. Messalina fled to the gardens of Euculus. There, her mother, Domitia Lepida, offered her a dagger, asking her to die with honor. Messalina, who had ordered so many deaths, proved to be a coward incapable of taking her own life. The centurions, sent by Narcissus, held her down, and the tribune Ebodius executed her with his gladius on the garden ground. Claudius, upon receiving the news, showed no relief, no pain, no human emotion, and continued dining. Hours later, he asked why the empress was late in joining him. The Roman government decreed damnatio memoriae, erasing her name from existence. Narcissus, the savior, created a power vacuum in the emperor's bed. Pius, his rival, introduced Agrippina the younger. Agrippina, a cold and calculating strategist, convinced Claudius to adopt her son, Nero. Narcissus fought against this incestuous union, knowing that Agrippina was ice where Messalina was fire. Agrippina poisoned Claudius in 54 AD. Nero murdered Britannicus, Messalina's son, and Narcissus was forced to commit suicide. The purge did not save the dynasty. The real lesson of the 25-man competition is not about sexual depravity, but about the nature of power. Messalina believed that absolute power was absolute freedom, and Narcissus believed it was absolute control. Both were fatally mistaken. Power is simply a machine for generating unintended consequences. The real threat is not the personal decadence of the powerful, but the solution that comes after. We have applauded the purge of the corrupt, only to discover that we have crowned a much more efficient tyrant. The fall of the she-wolf did not save Rome. It unleashed Nero upon it.